The ideas that gave birth to our nation are the ideas that our nation is resistant to right now, and we should talk about that all the time.
In a world where narratives are shaped by corporations and gatekeepers, independent voices matter more than ever. Badlands Media brings together citizen journalists, researchers, and independent thinkers.
The truth is triggering.
Question the narrative. Explore the facts.
It's authenticity, courage, resilience.
Search for the truth others won't.
It's not about being first or being right.
The information war is changing.
It's about being authentic.
Embrace the friction.
Embrace the friction.
Shut the f*** up.
Authentically antagonizing. Join the movement.
I'm going to say how I feel.
Follow Badlands Media.
This is about the future.
The Badlands. What are the Badlands? Explain those Badlands. That's a hell of a name.
Consider myself a conspiracy buff at all, but when they get a lot of coincidences, I get a little suspicious and call me crazy.
Polls, weird talk shows, crazy groups every Sunday telling you what you think.
The Republicans and the Democrats conspire with one another, which they do.
There is a conspiracy by big business against American democracy.
We know that there was a conspiracy.
There was a conspiracy.
There was no conspiracy.
Was there a conspiracy?
It's a communist conspiracy directed out of Moscow.
The right-wing conspiracy.
Communist conspiracy is a deliberate and predictable plan of action to subvert the world.
Right-wing conspiracy.
It's an international criminal conspiracy.
Vast right-wing conspiracy.
Great conspiracy.
There are all these conspiracy theories.
Was there a conspiracy? I don't know.
Perhaps themselves even involved in the conspiracy.
There was a conspiracy.
No evidence
of a conspiracy.
Anybody would have to be a fool nowadays to dismiss conspiracies.
Conspiracy theory.
Cockeyed conspiracy theory.
Conspiracy theory exists because there really is conspiracy.
But they never told a soul about it. In fact, they engaged in a vast conspiracy.
Since you get accused of being a conspiracy theorist, of being a paranoid.
The historical context of actual conspiracy.
A conspiracy of bad people.
As always happens at some point in a conspiracy. One night, Cousin Eddie got drunk in a honky-tonk and spilled the beans.
There was a conspiracy and government was involved in it.
Conspiracy existing within the United States government.
There was a conspiracy.
Conspiracy.
A conspiracy by the CIA.
The conspiracy of a few.
Dark, secretive, conspiratorial, evil.
Then it was certainly a deliberate conspiracy.
High-level conspiracy.
The do's and the don'ts and the rights and the wrongs of the various conspiracy theories that are good.
Possibility of a conspiracy.
In a moral sense, I think it was a conspiracy.
One conspiracy, that's all I'm talking about.
Full of speculation, conspiracy theories, and the like. And what's going on here?
You began to wonder what was really happening in America. I mean, was there a vast conspiracy afoot?
You know, there could have been a conspiracy.
Do you think you're obsessed with conspiracy?
Conspiracy theory.
A conspiracy.
I'm afraid you'll catch me. I'm afraid you'll catch me.
A conspiracy would do the job nicely.
Well, good evening, everybody, and welcome to another episode of your favorite Monday night show, likely your favorite show overall, Baseless Conspiracies. Zach, how you doing, sir?
I'm doing well, John. I got a new shirt just for tonight. It is it's a Sasquatch with an AR-15. Let me get real.
Oh, that's awesome. Did you see the video of Sasquatch that was circulating
no,
last week?
I did not, but I would love to see it. You know, we've kind of, just so the audience knows, we've got a couple of different subjects to talk about tonight. I had the main event, but then something came across my plate that is so conspiratorial. I had to bring it to you tonight, and I really wanted your thoughts on it, John. And now that you tell me there's a new Sasquatch video going around, 100% I want to see it.
Yeah. Somebody sent this to me just. Oh yeah, here it is. I got it. Should we play it now?
Yeah, play it. Let's see it.
Okay. Let me share my screen. By the way, I'm scrambling. I literally just walked in the door 15 minutes ago from my son's baseball practice.
Okay.
Same thing from last year. Who the hell schedules 8-year-old baseball at 7:30 at night? 7:30 to 9.
People who don't have podcasts at 9:30, 10:30 p.m.
Probably. Okay, watch this.
No shit.
Whoa.
Oh man, I don't know what to think, dude. I mean, that's like
It's obviously a fake.
dude, it looks like a dude walking in a suit, right? I mean, like, I would expect that a Sasquatch having a different muscular skeletal structure, it would be moving differently. But I mean, I don't even know that this is like real, as in a guy in a suit. This could very easily be AI with how good everything is nowadays.
Yeah. One thing to say is like, how do we know what it would walk like? Nobody's ever actually seen one.
Well, there's the Patterson-Gimlin film.
Okay, but come on. That's probably bullshit too.
I mean, that video was taken in like the early 60s. I feel like it would be very difficult to fake.
I don't know, man. I heard that's when AI started. We're just getting the slow roll right now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, there you go.
Well, it's certainly interesting, but I'm not going to invest in it. But hey, it's cool that it came out, and I got this Sasquatch shirt too.
Yeah. It looks a little chubby.
Way chubby. I mean, it's a big dude.
Looks
No
like
matter how you slice it.
That's Chris Christie in a Sasquatch costume. That's what that is.
That's good.
Just leaving the Golden Corral, walking home.
Yeah, he does have a bit of a belly, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does. A little ghetto booty there too. But anyway, what other conspiracies are we talking about though?
Okay, so mainly we're going to be talking about the GATE program, which is the Gifted and Talented Education Program.
Okay.
It's known as a number of different things. GATE in some school districts, you just gifted and talented, honors, STEM even is sort of like the modern day incarnation of this. But
haven't we talked about that before?
Well, we talked about it a little bit, but I got a whole bunch of different stuff to talk about it. We only spoke about it briefly in conjunction with something else. So
okay.
But I connected it to the Gateway program, which is from the Monroe Institute. And then I also have a couple of new videos of people who claim to were actually in the GATE program. And then
GATE program?
GATE
program. Okay.
Yes. And then I think I've actually connected it to the youngest ever serving CIA officer. Yeah.
Okay. Well, that should be fun to talk about.
Yes.
Oh, is there anything else we talk about? Because like we have peace, we had the UFC fights, the tribunals last night. I mean,
I'm kind of over talking about the UFC fights. I talked about that with Brian for like 40 minutes this morning.
Oh, geez. That would have sucked.
And of course, I had to talk about the Mohap incident.
Oh, yeah.
Which
that was funny.
President Trump responded to.
Oh, did he?
Well, I mean, people who saw him said that he like gave a smile and looked up and was like, like he wasn't upset. He didn't say, "Oh, you shouldn't say something like that." Like he just gave a knowing smile and nodded. Well, thank you, Thomas.
Thomas Tynes in the chat for $5 says, since Zach hasn't been getting his foreign agent income, I'll give him in advance. Suck conspiratards.
So I told a story the other day on my show because when the DNI report came out on the biolabs.
Can we even call that a report?
Well,
four pages.
4 pages. Okay.
Of a slideshow.
It is acknowledgement from an official U.S. government source, objectively the most important intelligence source in the United States because it's the ODNI. But hear me out. Let me finish this, okay? Because, I mean, that is like the top of the heap, okay? I mean, like they oversee every single intelligence agency. So years ago, during the church committee hearings and the exposure of MK Ultra and all of these sub-programs, the CIA, and I would argue a good portion of the rest of the intelligence community, learned a very important lesson. You can only be exposed for that which you record, okay?
Yeah.
And so compartmentalization got tighter, need to know got smaller. People, if you're not working on something together, you don't talk about it with them. You don't write things down that you know can be FOIA'd. And, that extended into, the bioweapons program and Anthony Fauci. I mean, they were very, very adept at hiding things and making sure that stuff couldn't end up being FOIA'd. So my point in making that point is to suggest that, yes, it's only 4 pages, but, Tulsi Gabbard is coming in at the tail end of this program. It was, of course, acknowledged in a way by Victoria Nuland, but she, of course, massaged the subject. It's a bio-research facility. Okay, what's the difference between a bio-research facility and a bioweapons facility? Only the definition that you give it, okay? So they had only so much information to present, but the important aspect of the release and the report is that it's acknowledgement from the United States government that all of these bioweapons labs existed around the world. And Tulsi Gabbard even went so far as to say that it was people like Anthony Fauci that ran these things, that funded them, and that approved them. And I think that this is all leading up to Anthony Fauci being fully exposed as being like the top of the pyramid in the bioweapons program here in the United States.
Yeah. Too bad the statute of limitations is another. Man, I could talk with you on this for, I feel like, a few hours, because, well, I don't know if I want to go down this rabbit hole.
Well, save it for next week. Let's save it for next. I mean, you could present a conspiracy to me, or you could try to just debunk what I just said.
Well, it's not a conspiracy theory. It's just I have a few disagreements. Like, one, why do we give a shit that the government is acknowledging something that we've already known to be true for 4 years, 5 years?
Because
why do we care?
Only that acknowledgement can lead to the accountability that we want. People have to be exposed. And okay, so we know.
Okay, well, who's at the top of the pyramid then for accountability? Fauci,
well, Anthony,
statute of limitations,
Anthony Fauci,
and a pardon.
Anthony Fauci doesn't work inside the government anymore. Anthony Fauci's pardon is an auto pen pardon. Okay, and Anthony Fauci, crimes against humanity. There's no statute of limitations on crimes against humanity.
But that wasn't in the report that we got.
No, it wasn't. But who's to say that that's the last thing that we're going to hear about it?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. They spent months looking. We got 4 pages. Also, the part you said about them being the most important. I mean, I understand why you say that, because technically they're at the top. But I would argue, Trump just came out and says, "I want to fire everybody. I want to dismantle that agency." Yeah. I don't think Trump sees it as the most important one. I don't either. I think it's unconstitutional. It's more of like a bureaucratic way for them to control all the intelligence agencies, or try to anyway.
You're correct.
But yeah, we don't need to spend time on this. I feel like I've talked so much on that. But this is election week, we're told. Allegedly, we're getting the election reports this week. I just don't want it to be a limited hangout. That's my concern. That's why I think the whatever bioweapons one is, I don't want the election one to do the same thing. We better get more than 4 fucking pages, or I'm going to lose my mind.
I would hope that that's going to be a lot more than that as well. And I would hope that it's also going to include something with a little more meat, like a DOJ actually indicting people.
Yeah. My conspiracy, here's a conspiracy for you, Zach.
Okay.
I believe that it's not even DNI doing it's the Presidential Intelligence Advisory Board.
That would be totally cool with me, and I would have no problem with that.
Even better, yeah. That's my thoughts too.
So the DNI, because of their supposed appearance as the overseer of all intelligence agencies, just have them actually release the information, and then Bill Pulte comes in and completely cleans house. Who's to say that we need more than just a director of national intelligence? That person can just be the clearinghouse for any releases or anything like that to happen in the future. I maybe they don't need to exist at all, but I think that we probably have a number of intelligence agencies that don't need to exist.
Yeah, all of them.
Yeah.
I'd be cool with all of them. The other thing that I found weird about that release is it was actually declassified on April 23rd. And they gave it to us on June 11th or something.
Mm-hmm.
That's a long time to wait for a 4-page report that didn't really say anything new.
Well, I would imagine that there was probably pushback from elements within the administration that were trying to make sure that it would never come out. Probably trying to wait out Tulsi Gabbard and then see if they could bury it. If they could get somebody in to replace her that was going to be willing to play ball with the intelligence community and just stop it entirely. I think this is drastically overlooked by so many people, but the bureaucracy of the United States government, the size of this thing, and the number of people that are still inside the federal government that literally their only job appears to be to slow walk things along the way. Okay, just to try to stop it from even happening. And there's a lot of people out there doing that. And that, in my opinion, that might be the most dangerous aspect of the entire machine itself, because, it's like the banality of evil. All they have to do is nothing. And basically nothing ever happens.
Yeah. Anyway, how about this? Let's get a quick word from our sponsors, and then we can start hammering away at this conspiracy.
Well, I've got the one mini conspiracy first. It's just it's a short clip from a show.
Micro conspiracy.
Yeah, but it's revisiting an old conspiracy.
Okay. Well, first up, we got Save Pulse. If I can find the video for it, and I gotta download it. So what we're gonna do? We're gonna do a little Juneteenth ad first.
Okay.
He changed his shirt 3 times before he left. Tried on a smile that didn't.
Everybody saved.
Everybody.
Even me.
Especially you.
You mean I just have to use a promo code to get the discount?
Phoebe truly is an idiot.
Hi, fellas. What year is it?
Soft disclosures for everybody.
Soft disclosure is for everybody. That full song is actually really catchy.
Dude, these guys, man, they do great jobs. Great work.
Oh, hell yeah, they do. Anyway, next up we got Save Pulse. Unexpected health emergencies don't wait. And with Save Pulse, you can stay prepared from trusted medications like amoxicillin, azithromycin, ivermectin, and hydroxychloroquine to the medical emergency kit designed to help support over 30 common illnesses. Save Pulse makes it easy to stock up on essential health supplies. At Save Pulse, keeping your family prepared has never been easier, and it's all delivered through a simple, streamlined ordering process at prices you can feel good about. Whether you need an emergency kit or you've been stocking up on everyday essentials, now's the time to be ready for whatever comes your way. Visit badlandsmedia.tv/meds today and use promo code Badlands to save 20% off. And that's badlandsmedia.tv/meds, promo code Badlands. And one thing I was thinking there too with the soft disclosure ad, our ads are freaking fantastic. I feel like we don't talk about how awesome the products are.
No.
Because they're so freaking high quality. It's not even funny. And the ads almost take away from the high qualityness of the products because they're so damn funny. But I can't stop wanting the funny ads.
Well, the thing about it is that the ads stick in people's minds. Okay,
Yeah,
it's like it's a mind virus in a good way.
Yeah, I like good mind viruses. We do have one more ad, but we'll probably get to that later, unless we want to hammer them all out now. I don't know.
I mean, sure, you might as well.
I think so. Okay, we'll do this. This will be the last one for the night, unless I'm feeling greedy later, but probably it won't be. We got Rumble Wallet. Awesome. We hear a lot about crypto, but here's the part most people miss. Crypto was created so you could actually own and control your own money. After the 2008 financial crisis, Bitcoin was designed as an alternative to banks. So instead of a bank holding your money, delaying transfers, or limiting access, you're the one in control. And if you've ever had to wait for a transfer to clear, you've felt that problem. Now, fast forward to today, everyone's heard of crypto, but getting started still feels complicated. That's exactly why we use Rumble Wallet. It takes all that complexity and makes it super simple. You choose what you want, whether it's Bitcoin, dollar-backed stablecoins, or even digital gold backed by real gold. There's no complicated setup. It connects with MoonPay, so you can use your credit card, debit card, or bank and be up and running in just minutes. And once you're set up, you can even support your favorite Rumble creators, like us here at Badlands, directly. So do this now. Scan the QR code or click the link in the description of this video and download Rumble Wallet. From there, you can set up your account, tap buy, and you're in the game. In just a few minutes, you can go from hearing about us talking about crypto to actually owning some, which is a life-changing moment for everybody. So again, that's Rumble Wallet. Get it, everybody. Support your favorite creators. Thank you, Rumble Studio and Rumble Wallet, for that.
Okay. All right. So first of all, CMAC at home in the chat says, stupid on my part. Can someone get the Sam Shepard case resolved? So I've never heard of the Sam Shepard case. I just did a quick Google search, and there is a Sam Shepard case from like the 60s. He was an American osteopath, and he was convicted of the 1954 murder of his wife. But apparently people are saying that he was innocent and wrongfully imprisoned. CMAC at home, if you can confirm that this is what you're talking about, I will happily add this in and see if it's possible to do a show on this. I mean, I've never heard of it, so I'd want to do a little bit more research than I otherwise would, because I wouldn't know where to start. So let me just add that Sam Shepard case.
Yeah, interesting.
Okay, so I don't even know if they're still here. I don't think I've ever seen that name before, but if you can respond, it's the fugitive. Oh, the fugitive. He's the fugitive. Oh, that's funny. That's funny. That's what the fugitive is based on.
Oh, that's a great movie.
It is a pretty great movie.
I've actually seen that movie. That's a great movie.
It's the one-armed man.
Yeah. No shit.
Okay, so maybe that was a joke.
was that real, based on like a real story though? Like in this case,
yeah,
was the actual murderer a one-armed man?
Well, I don't know. I don't know enough about the case, but I just know that from the movie it was the one-armed man, or the TV show it was the one-armed man. But okay, I'll look into this and see if there's anything more that I can add to it. But okay, so what I'm going to play for you. I know. Okay, so we're going to watch a clip from Candace's show today. Okay.
Okay.
I know she's a controversial figure. All right, but she presented some information in this like short 5-minute segment that I had not heard before, and it made me do a double take. And I was like, "Whoa, this is definitely something that I need to look into." All right. So let me pull this up. All right. She is talking about the mysterious death of Mark Liedy. Is that what his name?
Can I just say I hate Candace Owens?
Yeah, okay, but
like,
you know,
can I just preface this entire segment?
Player hate the game. We're talking about the information here, not Candace. Okay.
Well, it's just mostly because of my abject racism, but it's also just her content.
Well, for me, it's the eyes.
Yeah, that too. I don't know. There's something she got. Did you see the thing today? I know you have a whole thing you're setting up here, but there was a thing today where she made a post about how she tried to subpoena Ash Patel's.
She did a FOIA request. Yeah,
FOIA request, and then she's like, they said it was too much of a burden or something. And the FBI responded with the responses like, "Can you show us where we said that?"
Yeah, and it didn't say that. So yeah, believe me, I am fully aware of the clownery that Candace gets up to, and I'm not like a fan of hers, but it's the information that she presents here that made me just go, wow, this is definitely something that needs to be looked into. Okay, here we go.
Buckle up, ladies and gentlemen, because we are going on a journey, which actually begins on August 23rd, 2022. There was a man named Mark Liedy, and he died in a rather bizarre accident. The initial story is that he was in his backyard messing around with his burn barrel when something suddenly exploded. And they don't know what exactly it is that exploded in that burn barrel, but something did and caused a piece of shrapnel to hit his neck and end his life. Mark Liedy was just 48 years young. Take a listen to local news coverage of the event.
It's being called a freak accident. A healthy, active 48-year-old killed when something inside the burn barrel he was using ignited, causing an explosion, sending shrapnel flying through the air.
It's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking.
Chris Liedy is still trying to process the death of his younger brother, Mark.
He was burning papers or whatever. This was the story that I got. And something exploded. Something was in there. Something exploded, and a piece had come up, and, you know, that was it. I'm still in shock. At some point, I will try to put my arms around it, but at this point now, I can't.
The Liedy family still doesn't know what ignited inside the barrel that caused that explosion.
From the outside, business travel looks glamorous.
Thank you, Candace.
But it doesn't always feel that way.
This
Until
is
now,
not our fault.
Meet Navon Edge, your personal travel assistant.
How curious. Okay. His neck hit with a piece of shrapnel from an explosive. You can obviously tell that his brother has questions about that narrative. And he wasn't the only one, by the way. Mark Liedy's best friends had questions as well. One of his friends in particular, who he had known since high school, did not fully accept the burn barrel narrative. The first reason was due to what Mark Liedy did for a living. Mark Liedy, not mentioned here in that news clip, was a supervisor for a company called Surefire Wireline LLC. That is in Kittanning, Pennsylvania. Okay. Surefire Wireline works with oil and gas companies, and they specialize in what's known as pump down perforating for oil and gas wells. Don't worry, I'll explain it to you. You don't need to know much. Essentially, what it means is that they punch holes so that oil and gas can flow through horizontally. Okay. Now, why am I telling you that? Why do we need to know about that? Because that technique requires the use of a very specific explosive known as PETN. Think back to.
Okay, so that's really as far as I need to go because I can tell you the rest. So PETN, this highly dangerous explosive, only requires a couple of grams to produce just a very devastating explosion. Mark Liedy, through the course of his job, had taken some PETN from his work, okay? And he took it and he brought it home, and nobody knows why he took it, okay? We only know that he told his friend that he had taken it. He only told one person, and that one person that he told, his friend, was Corey Comperatore, the firefighter that was shot at Butler.
Interesting.
Well, it gets even more interesting because you know what happened shortly after that, I believe it was.
Is there any proof of that, though?
This was told to Candace by Corey's family.
Okay, well,
they reached out to her. Okay, well, so I don't
that's
have
not proof, considering how many times Candace has been wrong about like I was told this,
well,
and
let me just continue here. Okay. So the question is, why would he take this explosive? Okay, it seems obvious that the burn barrel, likely that it blew up because perhaps something like PETN was in it, but the exploding pagers. The Jewish exploding pagers that killed all of the Hamas people.
Yeah,
that was perpetrated using PETN inside those pagers.
Okay,
and Corey's family had also said that their tickets for that day were not for the front row. That some woman had come up to them and said, "Hey, would you guys like to sit in the front row?" Which of course, a conspiratorial mind might say, well, that put him directly in the line of fire for whomever would have been getting ready to shoot at the president. I don't know that these things are connected. And like I said, I heard this. It made me go, definitely want to do some more research on it. Look into the death of Mark Liedy. Look into the pagers again. Look into this story that is being told that Corey Comperatore was aware of this. And allegedly, Corey was like, I did something I shouldn't have done. I took this explosive, and he didn't tell Corey why he did it. Now, let's say that somebody wanted a clean source of PETN, and they approached somebody who had access to it, and they offered them a lot of money. And then he got it, and then they took care of him. They got the PETN, and then they perpetrated the exploding pagers incident. And then they found, or perhaps along the way, determined that Mark Liedy had told somebody it was Corey Comperatore, and then they took him out at the same time they were trying to take out President Trump.
Okay. Are we sure? I mean, I have so many questions. Like, I'm already like way thrown off by this just by the fact that it was something Candace said that she was told.
Yeah.
Unless they said that publicly, I don't believe it whatsoever. Are we sure Corey Comperatore was he sitting in the front row?
Wait a second. Lisa's saying that I'm wrong. The family didn't tell Candace. Well, who told her then, Lisa? She said,
see, I knew it.
Okay. Hold on. Oh my, yeah, that would make sense about PETN being in Charlie's microphone as well. So Lisa, let Zach know I live 1 mile from the Shepherd home, same city. I'd be happy to let him dig. Anybody who has the ability to help me dig on this story, send me an email, redpill78@proton.me.
And she's saying play the clip. You were misspelling it. You didn't tell the family.
Oh, okay, fine.
Should we just finish the clip?
All right, fine. Everybody seemed annoyed that it was Candace. I didn't want to go into it.
When you used to watch like Bugs Bunny, the Road Runner, and they always had the TNT explosive. Well, things have been updated since, and now the favorite explosive that is used is PETN. Okay, so Mark Liedy's high school friend, one of his best friends, did not believe that he had died because he just burned some random stuff in a barrel, because he knew that Mark had access to very dangerous explosives. And also that Mark knew how to deal with them, right? He was particularly careful with those explosives. He knew how to handle them, rather. And then there's this. Allegedly, Mark A. Liedy had confessed to his longtime high school friend just a week before he died, that he had illegally taken some explosives from his job. The ATF was apparently investigating him for this. At least that's what was told to what Courtney Fief, who was a former ATF agent, confided to somebody, that he had this confession a week before he died. By the way, just as a general question, why would any person want to steal explosives from work, right? To be clear, just a tiny bit, a couple of grams of PETN causes a massive explosion. I'm going to demonstrate for you guys in a little bit. So it begs the question, what could a person do with larger amounts of it? Is there like a black market for those types of explosive? Otherwise, why risk blowing yourself up, taking it from work, getting into trouble, being investigated by the feds? Was there somebody on the outside that was seeking to buy it in larger quantities on the side? The answer is, I don't know. What I do know is what happened on July 13th, 2024, just 30 minutes away from Kittanning, Pennsylvania. And this happened in Butler, Pennsylvania. Trump survived an assassination attempt while on stage at his rally. The sad part is that Mark Liedy's longtime high school friend, who didn't exactly buy the narrative of the barrel, he did not survive. Mark Liedy's friend's name was Corey Comperatore. Yes, it was Corey Comperatore who Mark Liedy had confided his secret to, that he had done something that he wasn't supposed to. But again, I'll ask the question, to what end? Did he tell Corey more about what he was doing with those explosives? Sadly, neither man is alive today.
Okay. So you can see where my confusion lied. He told him something, and I just mixed up the facts a little bit. But the entire thing definitely, I think, is interesting and is worth digging into just a little bit. And like I said, somebody said I should be doing the show with them. I don't know you. We've never spoken before, but if you've got some information and you want to email me, anybody, please, by all means, send me an email, redpill78@proton.me, because I am going to dig on this. I'm going to look into it. And this is not the show, though. I should be very clear. We're not talking about this for the entire night tonight.
Yeah. I also think, so the conspiracy here is like that this guy who died and Corey Comperatore were friends.
They were friends. Yes. This guy happened to steal some explosives. A burn barrel exploded strangely. I've seen, I've been on lots of properties, okay, that had burn barrels, and I think anybody who has a burn barrel knows to like not leave a can of gasoline in there or not throw aerosol cans. I mean, you're burning wood, you're burning yard waste and stuff like that. Not something that's going to explode on you.
Yeah, but what's the, like, why would they have killed him off? Like, that's the implication here, I'm assuming.
If he stole whatever the PETF or whatever the stuff is, okay, he steals this from his employer, he's being investigated for it, then he could give up the people that had requested he steal it for them. Okay, there would be like a causal link and a series of jumps that would lead to somebody else that would get into trouble.
Okay.
PETN. Thank you, EC. PETN.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I guess I'm confused. I don't know. I don't see it as like a conspiracy. Also, Corey Comperatore was sitting at more than 2 rows deep off to Trump's left side. He wasn't front row.
Well, I mean, how many rows are there? I mean, he was towards the front is all it was getting at. I mean, he's not like, sitting in the back behind a bunch of people, I mean,
yeah,
perhaps just easier to get to. And again, I'm not claiming anything. I'm just saying, like, this is what she said. It's, it's interesting to me. The information is interesting regardless of where it came from. Like, if I had heard this from anybody, I would have been like, this is certainly something I think that should be dug on.
Sure. No, I got you. Oh, well, yeah, I mean, I have nothing else to say. I don't know.
Yeah.
I need to hear more, I think, and I don't think we're there yet. So
no,
we can go to the next one.
That was literally all I planned on doing, was just bringing that clip. All right. So gifted and talented. That's really what we're talking about tonight. So anybody who isn't aware, the gifted and talented program is essentially, as I summarized it earlier, it's just a program within public schools to take children that have certain levels of aptitude and develop them so that they can most likely go on to do things that will benefit humanity. Like, what's really interesting about it is, like, I went to Catholic school, okay? And the closest thing we had to this was, like, they would take the smartest kids out of two grades, and then they would put them together. So, like, when I was in first grade, I was in a second grade split class, okay? And then, so, like, they had, like, a regular first grade. They took me out of that regular first grade, put me in with second graders. And then the same thing, second and third grade. We just, like, moved up. All of us moved up together. And they didn't have a gifted and talented program through the Catholic school that I went to. But I moved to public school after that. And they did have a gifted and talented program. This teacher was, like, super hot on the idea of me getting into this gifted and talented program. I've done a lot of, what did that say?
Oh, I clicked the wrong one. I meant to click this one. It was obvious he was killed because he had burned bakes in his burn barrel.
There you go. All right. So yes, we didn't have it at my school. And this teacher, she had previously worked at public schools. She knew the school that I was going to be going to, and she was all hot on me getting into the GATE program when I got there. And so it never ended up happening. When I got to public school, it was really difficult. Not like it was intellectually challenging. I was like a grade ahead of everybody when I got there. That was the difficult part. It was like I was penalized for knowing things, basically, for for understanding the work and already knowing the work. Everything that I was learning when I got to public school, I had already learned in private school. And so as a result of that, I kind of just, like, backed away, and I did not want to be anybody that, people would pay attention to. And so, like, I declined to take part in the GATE program once I got to school. And I did have a friend, though, who went to this same school district from the beginning, and he was in the GATE program. He was a grade under me, and so the group of kids that he was with was different from any of the kids that I would have been with. And he told me just some crazy things, and it's the same type. Oh, you faggot!
You're speaking of high school. I mean, I just had to.
Well,
said you're having a difficult time. I thought maybe it could have been.
It was
more drug choice.
Middle school, and I didn't look like that in middle school. I looked like that in high school because I decided that I didn't give a shit what people thought about me, and I completely rebelled against everything that was around me. So
I respect that.
That's why I looked like that, because I was basically daring people to fucking come at me. Anyways,
I'm sure that challenge was not accepted.
So in the gifted and talented program, well, first of all, you can go to different school districts around the country, and you can see, like, what their requirements are for this stuff and the things that they're looking for. And just as an example right here, this is from Bright Hub Education. It's basically like I think it's like learning lessons, like, for different teachers and stuff. So is your child gifted? Learning to read at an early age and preferring to read books instead of playing games does not automatically mean that they're gifted and talented. So this is why we need to start looking for these kids. And the Gifted and Talented program throughout the nation is looking for kids with aptitude beyond simply memorization. That includes things like creative and imaginative thinking. If they can cite the theory of relativity at the age of 3, that might mean that they're gifted. But gifted and talented students have different traits and abilities. That's why identifying them can be a complicated process. And they actually have this like worksheet breakdown with these 6 different areas of gifted and talentedness. And along with these different areas, they have assigned different personality traits. It's crazy the level of like scientific breakdown that they've gone through to determine what type of kid that they are. And then based upon the type of kid, the type of lesson planning and activities that you need to have them in order to cultivate the various skill sets that they are likely to have. So multiple facets, they say, of gifted and talentedness. You've got general intellectual ability. The existence of high intellectual ability is not merely about the student's ability to use an extensive vocabulary, must be supported by evidence such as high scores and high IQ tests. And the scores of such students are usually 2 standard deviations higher than the average. Specific academic aptitude. They need not demonstrate high aptitude in all academic subjects. High proficiency in one subject, placing them at 97% or higher in the percentile rank is sufficient to classify them as gifted. Often tested subjects, however, are mathematics and language arts. So creative thinking and productive thinking. Creativity is the single word description of a student's ability to come up with new ideas, tolerate ambiguity, choose complex ideas over simple ones, develop new meanings of concepts, and enjoy taking risks. Leadership abilities. Not all leaders are geniuses, but good leaders demonstrate highly developed interpersonal and social skills. This is where they have the ability to negotiate, influence, and even dominate. Visual and performing arts. Talents in visual and performing arts are usually demonstrated in music, painting, drama, and other areas. And then psychomotor abilities. Highly developed kinesthetic abilities lead to extraordinary psychomotor abilities. Gifted and talented students have exceptional mechanical, spatial, and physical skills. Now, you can see that they're looking for people across like the entire spectrum of what might be needed in society.
I looked it up. There's 3.3 million people in the GATE program.
GATE
nationwide.
Whatever. Between 3 and 5, I would say, depending on how it's cataloged.
That's higher than I would have expected.
Well, there's a lot of kids all across America. So,
still,
depending on where you're looking for this information. I mean, they definitely say that what we're trying to do is to develop like the next generation of people who are going to give back to society. Okay. And that could be in a number of different ways, but obviously they want leaders, they want thinkers, they want creators, and I think they want manipulators. They want people of all types. Now, take a look at this. Now, because a lot of people have suggested that the GATE program is just it's an early childhood training module for the Central Intelligence Agency. And, spoiler alert, that's honestly what I think it is as well.
Yeah.
But you have here this module that is from, God, when is this? This is, hold on. What's the date on here? Well, this is from the U.S. Department of Health, Education, and Welfare National Institute of Education. So,
can you zoom in on that?
Yeah, I'm about to. But they call this particular type of instruction CIA, Confluent Instructional Approach. How the CIA can help desegregate gifted and talented classrooms. So a little bit on the nose, but they're trying to come up with this acronym that separates it from the actual Central Intelligence Agency, but I don't think that they did a very good job. So this article here goes into the ways that this particular type of learning and instruction can help to basically cultivate children who are gifted. and bring about the results that you want. Now, the people that have come forward to talk about their experience in the GATE program have had similar experiences. And this is where I will talk about my friend Wes. Okay. So I might have actually told a story about him on the show before. We used to be like camping and hiking buddies. Okay. And Wes.
Like what age? Like you guys go do camping and hiking by yourself or like with your families or
when we were adults, like,
Okay.
like once a year, you know, when my daughter was young and his son was young, we had kids that were the same age. And so we would take like a 1 or a 2 week off from work. You know, at that time I was working in corporate America, so I got paid vacations. He did too. And so we would take like a week or 2 off and we would go hiking or camping. You know, it all includes the same stuff. Like we went to Denali National Park and went and camped out in the backcountry, had a bear encounter. We did the Porcupine Mountains in northern Michigan. We did Isle Royale in northern Michigan, closer to Canada, but still part of Michigan. We did this route from Denver up to Boulder into Rocky Mountain National Park and then back down again. And when Wes was a kid and he was in the GATE program, they would, well, first they brought him in, they gave him these tests, did this interesting work with tones played through headphones, and they gave him some special drink, and they had him do all of these strange tests. And one thing that's interesting about it is that the people who know that they were in the GATE program, who are at least talking about it, there may be people in the audience who had a different experience, but I don't think that the experience of everybody in each and every one of these individual modules that were all across America were uniform. I think that what we have is a series of hyper specific learning environments that were for different types of learners and different types of aptitudes that they were trying to develop. So somebody in the audience may have a different experience, but
I'm sure like when they give these people, if there is an agenda behind the GATE program, they're trying to like find specific targets. There's got to be certain scores that they get, so they know like, hey, this is somebody I can give the purple drink to. And give them.
So let me read to you some of the commonalities between some of these people. So you tend to have common physical characteristics. First of all, overwhelmingly, like Caucasian and Asian children are overrepresented. And Caucasian kids are about 58% of the GATE program.
How many are the blackies? How many do they make up?
Not many. I don't know. But this is what's funny is that is actually a problem that in 2022, U.S. News and World Report wrote about as a reason why the GATE program was racist.
Of course.
So these programs are designed to challenge kids who are ahead of their classmates, but have drawn controversy over inclusion. So the National Association for Gifted Children, there's also a global association as well, defines gifted students as people who perform or have the capacity to perform at higher levels compared to the same age groups. But there's no universal method for deciding who qualifies. And it has been plagued by racial and economic disparities. Nationwide, white, Asian, and higher income students tend to be overrepresented in gifted programs, while minority and low income students are underrepresented. So there was talk about shutting down this program because there were too many white people and there were too many Asians in it. And
I'm just looking at percentages right now, not to interrupt, but this is 2013, 2014. I don't know why it's not giving me anything any like more recent, but back then it said Asians was 13.3%, white was 6.7%. I'm sure, I saw something here where it's higher now than it was in 2013, but whatever, this is the average there. Hispanic was 6.4, black was 4.4, and then Native American was 4.3.
Well, that's nowhere near 100%. So those numbers don't make
those are just the top races. I mean, there's a whole laundry list of them.
Okay. Well, I mean, then that means that anything other than those I mean, what do you got, like 20% there? I mean, I don't have the
it's
numbers.
like 35%.
Okay.
I'll see if I can find a better chart here.
So then you have 65% other races. I don't know who those would be, but anyways, so inside the program, the people who have, come forward, you've got a set of common physical characteristics, including blue eyes, also hazel eyes, it sounds like, tends to be common. People report forehead scars and an occipital bun. Have you ever heard of an occipital bun?
No, but I'm about to Google it.
The occipital bone is the bone on the back of your skull. The occipital bun is a slightly larger bump on the occipital bone, which is believed to be a trait from Neanderthal DNA that may be in people's DNA. I don't know if that qualifies, but maybe it does. Go to this one over here, the one that kind of fourth down, the white guy on the left. No, the one you can't see it. That one right there. I would consider that to be closer to what they're talking about, because that's far more pronounced in the way that it bumps out. That looks more like he's a Peruvian egghead mummy. But that could be, I'm not sure. But so that occipital bump apparently is something that they tend to see in people. Psychological characteristics, obviously high IQ, interest in sort of like paranormal and unusual phenomenon. ITNJ personality types. People tend to be intuitive. Also, people in these programs tend to have some type of memory loss. Migraines are also highly reported. Also, people tend to have maybe strange prophetic or like premonition type dreams. There was also a set of characteristics within people's lives, like maybe might have had birth complications. They might be the firstborn son, could have gone through early speech therapy. Maybe they've had near-death experiences. Also, potentially a tendency to be maybe picked on, followed, gang stalked. And then there are a number of other things. But one of the other common memories that people have is that it seems like they are trying to develop kids' psychic abilities. And they'll do strange games and lessons that are designed to bring out these sort of latent, inherent characteristics that people don't necessarily gravitate to because it's not something that you're taught that you even have. But we've talked about some of the work that the CIA has done before. I mean, obviously, you've got a lot of work that they've done working with the human mind, and you're aware of MK Ultra, I'm certain. Within MK Ultra, there's actually a sub-program, Sub-Project 112, where they used 3,000. This was back in the 50s, and I have a document. I got to pull it up, but they used over 3,000 kids, and they gave them occupational tests. And they tried to determine what occupations these kids would most likely gravitate towards through like a series of games and analytical tests that they would give people. And it was a sub program of MK Ultra, and the program or the department within the CIA that was running this was at least partially the chemical branch, which is certainly interesting because MK Ultra was using psychedelic drugs and a variety of other things to sort of crack into people's minds and see if they could control them. I think it's just as likely that they would have given kids drugs that they thought could potentially open up latent psychic abilities or psionic abilities. And the other thing about this is that Do you remember us talking about the Gateway program before?
Yep.
Yeah. So the Gateway program was developed by the Monroe Institute, and apparently a good portion of the work that they were having these kids do was based on the Monroe Institute's work. So, teaching these kids some type of meditation practices. The Monroe Institute also are the people who came up with binaural beats. And I
don't know what that is. Okay. How do you spell that?
binaural. So I actually use binaural beats daily.
Oh yeah, you told me about this before.
Yeah. So binaural beats, they are asynchronous beats at different hertz frequencies in each of your ears, and they entrain your brain to enter a certain brainwave pattern. So you can use them to go to sleep really quickly. You can use them to enter REM sleep. You can use them to enter super dreamless sleep. You can use them for deep concentration. And this is also something that some of these kids have reported is, when you're wearing the headphones, you hear these tones, and then you have to identify when specific tones are playing at in different headphones and which side of your ear, and then they will use them to put them into a certain brainwave pattern when they're doing certain tests. Anyways, so my friend Wes has specific memories of the headphones and the tones and these sounds being played, and also remembers being given this liquid, remembers doing strange exercises with flashcards, and there was also this girl who, well, actually, I'm sorry, before I jump to her, what's interesting is that he was in it for a couple of years, and then he came out, and he always had to get picked up from school, and he would be taken off site. And he was also told, not to tell people what they were doing. And he was, always thought well, that's strange because it seems kind of innocuous, but he also was conscious of the fact that he didn't remember everything that they were doing. And he said, at school with these other kids, we wouldn't talk about what was happening, but it was just it was there, and it was part of the day, and it was what I was supposed to do. And then I would come home, and then at a certain point it ended, and that was it. So when, not that long ago, maybe a year ago or something like that. I guess it was right after President Trump got reelected and was inaugurated. Wes called Michigan Senator Gary Peters and left an angry message, and basically, berated him about some vote or something like that. And shortly after that, he got a call from people who said that they were the FBI, and they said, "We need you to come in because we want to talk to you." And he was like, "Oh shit," they're upset about this phone call. So they had him meet them at this building, and it wasn't an FBI building. Okay. It was a nondescript office building with a series of empty offices, but he had to go into this one office, and he came with his dad because he didn't have a lawyer. And he got there, and there were two agents there. He said that they didn't show him FBI badges or anything, but they identified themselves as FBI agents. And they said, "Thank you for coming in. We've got something really serious that we want to talk to you about." And he was all ready for them to talk about this call to Gary Peters. And he had actually called me ahead of time, and he was like, "I think I'm fucked. I think I'm in trouble because I made this call, and I know I said something I shouldn't have, and the FBI wants to talk to me." And I was like, "Get yourself a lawyer, okay? Or make sure that you're not alone, and record everything, okay? Make sure you have your phone, and you need to just record the conversation because you have no idea what they're going to do."
Yeah.
So he gets there, and he was like, "Listen, I'm really sorry about the call." And they were like, "That's not why you're here."
So they didn't know about the call.
No, they knew about the call, but they didn't care about the call. Okay. They said, "We're here because of your participation in the GATE program." And
how old was he when this happened?
Dude, he's like my age. He's like in mid 40s. Okay.
And they wanted to know about the gay program from when he was a kid.
No, they knew he was in the gay program, and they wanted to tell him something specific because of his participation in the gay program. And he was like, what? He was like that program from when I was in elementary school. And they're like, yes. They were like, we called you in because we are concerned about your safety. And he was like, what? And he said, yes, the new administration, we believe that some of President Trump's advisors are telling him that people like you that were in the GATE program are dangerous, and we're worried that you're going to be like rounded up and questioned. And he was like, are you serious?
No way.
Yes. Okay. All right. Listen, this guy has been like one of my lifelong best friends. Okay. If it wasn't him, I wouldn't believe it. I would be like, that's bullshit. There's no way. Okay. And he said it was something to do with one of President Trump's like religious advisors. Like I don't remember her name.
That chick that everybody hates?
I think it might be, but I don't remember her name, and I don't remember, what he said specifically. But the whole reason they called him in is because they said, we believe you're in danger and we wanted to warn you. And he was like, what am I supposed to do with this information? And they were like, well, if anybody else comes to see you or anybody else comes to talk to you, then we advise you don't talk to them and that you call us immediately. And so he was like, okay. And that was it. That was it. And I was like, Wes, those people were not FBI. Like, there's no way. There's no way, because they would have shown you badges, and there's no reason that they would call you in for that. Like, that is the craziest thing I've ever heard.
When was this, by the way?
Right after President Trump was reinaugurated.
And okay, did he like reach out to the FBI to like confirm that they were actual agents?
No, he was so freaked out. He just wanted it to be over. Okay. Like, he just came back. He told me what happened, and then that was it. All right. So here's my theory. Okay. I think that the GATE program, as I said, is a development program, not only for CIA officers, okay, but also for assets and Manchurian candidates. Okay. And I think that, Wes he's an unusual guy. Okay. But like, he's not a liar. And he wouldn't have made this up. He wouldn't have told me all this.
Yeah.
But I think that they wanted, they knew about the phone call, and they knew about his participation in the GATE program, and they wanted to get a sense of his mental state. And they wanted to talk to him, and they wanted to reestablish a connection. Okay. A line of communication. And I think that people that have been through this program, they've already gone through a sort of MK Ultra mind control and conditioning. I think that, the liquid that they have people drinking is a sedative hypnotic, perhaps. Okay. Something that will induce a dissociative state. Think about everything that they learned during MK Ultra. Okay. Of course we hear about the really like violent stuff, and the sexual abuse. I mean, everything that they did to force a disassociation and force people into those mind states. They did it with drugs, and then they did it with, horrible abuse. And there's also like the generational aspect, which is why I think maybe you have people who are wealthy, kids that are wealthy in there, because you're getting kids who have parents who might be in these programs or might be in the Central Intelligence Agency. And they take people in, and the people who excel in certain levels of study, that they can move forward like they do. I know somebody else who was in a program like this, and it probably was this, but he was very cagey about it. They took him and put him in a PhD program. He became a PhD at the age of 15. Okay. Like, he was a medical doctor. He was, a physicist, and very accomplished, and one of the most intelligent people that I've ever met. Okay. The guy is, he's something else. He's really something else. And at a certain point, and he did work for the government. Okay. He won't talk about specifically what it is, and he won't confirm certain things to me, but I got him to basically admit that, his talent was developed from a very early age, and he was immediately moved into like a position at Los Alamos. Okay, at very young, very, very young.
Wow.
Okay. And then, eventually became a medical doctor, transitioned out of that, became a medical doctor. And so, they will put people where they need to be. And if you have an aptitude that could potentially lead to you being used in an operation at a certain point later in life, then I think that they would go ahead and move you into that position. You could be a Manchurian candidate. You could be somebody who could be activated at some point. And when you think about 3 to 5 million kids at any one time being part of this program, they've got their fingers in the brains of all of these children all across the United States. And they could activate them at a moment's notice.
Is there any actual proof, though, or any like documentation out there that's come out and maybe the CIA vault or something?
No,
showing the Gates program like leading to anything like that?
No, nothing like that. But I do have. Okay, so let me take you through this timeline. In 1957, that's when Russia launched Sputnik.
Okay.
In 1958, the Eisenhower administration signed the National Defense Education Act, and this was the first indication of the U.S. government specifically seeking out and I guess, legislating a way to sponsor programs across the country that would develop American kids so that they could push them into science and positions of leadership and things like that. Also, obviously, not long after the CIA had come into existence. So they wanted to basically prepare children intellectually to compete against their Soviet counterparts. Okay. And then in the late 50s, shortly after that, you've got, Subproject 112 through MK Ultra. There's only one document about that. I can actually send that over to you if you want to check that out a little bit further, because there's quite a few more pages in that right there. And we didn't look through them because I'm talking about all this other stuff. Let me go to the private chat, and here you can pull that up on your end.
Okay.
And see what you can find. All right. And then you've got Project Stargate, which we talked about as well. Joseph McGonigal was involved in that. He was working with the Defense Intelligence Agency and the CIA to do this. This was like the remote viewing. Okay. And right around that same time in the mid 60s, you have the CIA working with the Monroe Institute to develop, these mind expansion pathways. Okay. And that meditation methodology was the gateway method, which was developed as a result of the Gateway Project, which was a CIA operation. And maybe it's just coincidental. Okay. But gifted and talented education, known as GATE, also, of course, is spun up right around this time in the early 70s. Now, I had mentioned, I mentioned the earliest CIA officer to ever serve. It was a guy who became an agent at the age of 18. His name was Chase Brandon. Now, Chase Brandon
became an agent at the age of 18?
At the age of 18. Now,
what year was this?
Early 70s, 1972, I think. Okay, so just, consider that. When you become a CIA, when you get hired by the CIA, there's a 2-year in-house training process, okay, before you can just become an agent. If he became an agent at the age of 18, first of all, it demonstrates incredible intelligence, aptitude, and ability, and it would suggest that he had been cultivated from an earlier age than 18, okay? Now, for the next 25 years, he worked in and around Latin America undercover. Okay. And then he was transitioned by the CIA to become the very first Hollywood liaison for the CIA.
Can you give me his name again? I'm sorry.
Chase Brandon. Chase Brandon. Okay. He's now retired, but he was the first official Hollywood liaison for the CIA. And he worked on a whole bunch of movies and television shows that you would probably be aware of, all of them having something to do with the CIA. There was a movie called The Recruit with, I think it was Al Pacino. Okay. That was about a CIA recruit. That was Chase that worked on that. He wrote, he produced. There's another movie called Wag the Dog, which I think a lot of people in the audience probably will have seen. There's a character in that movie which appears to be based on Chase Brandon.
Enemy of the State.
Yep.
In the Company of Spies. Meet the Parents. That's a random one.
And Meet the Fockers.
Weird. Spy Game. Some of All Fears.
But remember Robert De Niro's character in Meet the Fockers.
That's true.
Was a CIA torture expert. Also, the CIA show called Alias. That was all about a clandestine sort of MK Ultra CIA female agent right there. Also 24, which was about a CIA agent. He was also a technical consultant on Some of All Fears with Ben Affleck. Yeah, the list goes on. Okay. Like he did a whole bunch of stuff. All right. And then later on, he came out and he wrote a book about the Roswell incident. And he claimed while working at the CIA to have seen the CIA's Roswell files and said like 100% what landed in Roswell was not a weather balloon. It was an alien spacecraft and there were bodies on it. Now, that could totally be an op, right? Obviously, they could just have the CIA have this dude who already is connected to the entertainment industry pushing this stuff out there. Mostly I just wanted to connect him to this like early age development with the help of the CIA. Now, let me take you to this article right here from the New York Post. This was from last year, just about a year ago, just before President Trump was inaugurated. January 14th, this comes out. So this girl was in the GATE program, and she talks about all of the same things that I've already talked about, but she kept her lesson plans, and they had her learning like Russian at a very young age. Yeah. And, okay, so her name is Anna Mills. I guess she's got a TikTok account, and you can look her up, Anna Mills XO23. So people were already talking about this GATE stuff, but she comes across her lesson plan and she starts looking at it. She was in the GATE program in the 90s. And she's like, the stuff I found here, I'm like, what were they training us for? So let me take you to this video. I need to turn the sound on.
I was a part of the Gifted and Talented program in the 90s, and I just found my binder. The things I found. For starters, they had us doing worksheets in Morse code. Here's one of them. So they gave us at the top what the Morse code is, and then we had to fill out the rest of the worksheets to like make codes and messages and stuff in Morse code. A lot of our worksheets were about different codes. This one is literally called Codes to Crack. So you can see there, they gave us like 8 letters, and each of the columns is a different code. So for this one, there was 8 letters. They gave us the corresponding letters, and then we had to figure out the rest of the alphabet and fill in the rest of the column. But there's so much more. Like the stuff I found in there, I'm like, what were you training us for? Like, why was I 10 years old speaking Russian? Cool, but I don't actually remember anything except that's my name. So I do remember that. I'll share more as I go through the whole thing, but it's like there's like hundreds of worksheets in there, so like it's gonna take.
So yeah, the thing that's compelling for me about her is obviously the Russian. That's pretty interesting. There were other languages that they were teaching her as well, but the code breaking stuff, That is definitely unusual for kids, but not unusual if you are going to be, training kids who will later in life become code breakers. So
have you ever seen the movie The Imitation Game?
I think that I have. Who's in it?
It's that guy, Benedict
Cumberbatch.
Yeah.
Benedict Cumberbatch. He's the gay guy who he creates the Enigma machine.
Yeah, Alan Turing or whatever.
Yeah, Alan Turing.
Whenever I think of like code breaking stuff, that's what I think of, because that's what the whole movie's about.
Yeah.
Interesting movie, but yeah, that is weird. Like for kids to be doing that.
Yes.
Code breaking.
So
I wonder if they still like do these kind of things. Like I wonder if parents ever notice their kids coming home with like code and Russian. Actually, probably now it's probably like
Arabic,
Chinese or Iranian.
Yeah,
whatever they speak over
Iranian, that'd be Persian.
Yeah, there we go.
But yeah, so she has posted a whole bunch of different videos and showing the things that she had to decode.
This is a real decoder, guys.
Yeah.
This is what they really look like.
Some former members of the program commenting on the videos expressed suspicions as to why they struggled to maintain memories from these classes. Others suggesting their minds were altered. Most of us only faintly remember any of it, completely blocked that out for decades until just now. Why don't I remember a single thing except the building and the entryway? So yeah, that tends to be the people's experience with it. Just connecting the experiences of people in the GATE program with the CIA, I think the bridge is the Gateway program itself, because a lot of the work that they were doing to specifically expand people's minds and develop psychic and psionic abilities. I mean, I think that you see that in the experiences that people talk about in the GATE program, from the Gateway program. Now, check it out. Here's another guy who was in the GATE program, and he's talking about the binaural beats and the headphones and the stuff that they had to listen to.
They weren't framed as meditations to us. They were framed as listening tests and testing your listening skills. So being able to focus on what you're listening to versus trying to figure out what your body's doing the whole time.
Gotcha. Okay. Mm-hmm.
And so these frequencies that they administer to you, and people in the audience, to understand this, they would have one tone in this ear that was different than one tone from this ear. But so spatially, it kind of sounded like a and so it would be connecting your left hemisphere to your the right hemisphere of your brain. And to achieve essentially what monks can achieve over a lifetime, it would only take a matter of minutes for us to achieve.
You described that very well. The sound, even, you described that sound perfectly. So kudos to that. Yeah, and just to give, for anyone who seems confused who's listening right now, when he's talking about Hemi-Sync, so Hemi-Sync is where you take it's the left and right lobe of your brain, and basically you get them to work in unison, and they literally mesh, and it creates a synchronization. It's the only way you can actually achieve and do any of the things in the Gateway experience and these advanced forms of meditation. If you do not tap into meshing these two hemispheres and creating that synchronization, well, you're not going to even be able to conceptualize what that would actually look like or feel like or experience like, just because you didn't achieve it. You'll know when you achieve it. I know firsthand on a couple of occasions now, you will know when you achieve it. It's not something where it's like a subtle thing. It's in your damn face, like metaphorically speaking. Yeah, anyways, sorry.
So yeah, putting kids through those specific Gateway methods is pretty unusual. And again, it's directly connected to the CIA.
Yeah.
So, and again, thinking about the development of these kids for certain career paths, going back to Chase Brandon, we don't know anything that he did in South America. Okay. He doesn't talk about any of that stuff. But then once he comes out of it, he immediately transitions into Hollywood and goes into the arts and becomes a writer and a producer. And he's supervising shows and being a technical expert, essentially informing others who are writing about the CIA about the experience, but also what's permissible to say and the things that they're legally allowed to talk about. And, anytime the CIA is involved in a project like this, they're going to get they're going to get like, final say so on what is able to be released and what they can talk about. Now, Chase Brandon actually has a personal website. Actually, he used to. I don't know that it's still available. Well, I can go to the archived version of it. Looks like the last time it was archived was back in 2025. And let me see if it's still online. Nope. Now it says it's coming soon in 2025. So let me go back to 2019 because there were a bunch of, nope, nothing in 2019.
There's suspiciously little in terms of like that Chase Brandon's background out there. There's just like his Hollywood stuff and like he served for 25, 35 years or whatever. And that's like it.
And that's what I'm saying. He was a CIA operative from the moment he turned 18. Now, normally you got to be 26 years old is like, that's the youngest age that they will accept applicants.
Yeah, that's
so nuts. The fact that he was 18, that just, I think that the only thing that makes sense is that they were developing him from a young age.
I'm trying to find some. There's like 3 articles on him, and the rest is just like IMDb shit.
Yeah. Now the other thing is, I'm sure you're aware that Georgetown has a direct connection to the CIA. They have the Walsh School of Foreign Service. This is basically where you go to college to become a agent at the CIA or, at the DIA, Defense Department. You can basically take the Walsh School of Foreign Service program and then immediately transition into the U.S. Intelligence Service, any one of the various branches of intel agency that we have. And but the CIA pays for a large portion of Walsh's curriculum, and they claim that it comes from anonymous donors, but there is money that's been tracked specifically coming from the Central Intelligence Agency that they basically don't want anybody to know about. And so again, just pointing to the educational path to develop people and then bring them into any number of these agencies. I think that it just makes a lot of sense that they would start with kids as young as they possibly could. And I think that goes for kids who have no connection in a familial sense to the intelligence world, and then also like directly for kids who come from the intelligence world. If you look at some of these people in these families, you will have kids that are basically, and especially with like ritualistic abuse and mind control stuff, those kids come from a family that has gone through that exact same thing. Now, it doesn't mean that kids who were in the gateway in the GATE program were ritualistically abused or put through like the most horrific aspects of MK Ultra. I think that there are a number of different paths to engaging in mind expansion or some level of mind control that doesn't necessarily have to be through a ritualistic abuse pathway. I think that, with all of the experimentation and the different sub-programs under MK Ultra, they probably figured out, just like dozens and dozens of different ways to do it, whether it's through drugs or hypnosis or the abuse or the use of the gateway process. I think that there's probably many different ways that it could be done.
Yeah, I'd be curious to see if we could figure out how many people from the GATE program actually are in how many CIA agents or FBI or whatever intelligence officers are from the GATE program.
Well, I don't think that they would ever tell you that.
I know, but I would love to know that statistic. I wonder if we could FOIA something like that. They got to have information on that.
Well, they've got to have information, but is that information declassified?
Yeah, I don't know. Probably not.
Yeah, no, probably not.
Maybe that'll be in Tulsi's next report.
I scoured for anything from the CIA just with, GATE, gifted and talented, any of that stuff. but the closest I can come is, Gateway.
Yeah, I don't know, man. This is fascinating, though.
It's certainly.
I can't believe they're giving kids like Russian and code breaking stuff. Like I'm just thinking of my daughter, because like my son's very smart too. He just doesn't care as much. My daughter loves school. She's reading at we don't even know, because she tested out of her kindergarten reading thing, and so the next time they had her take the first grade reading level test, and she tested out of that too. Like she was too high off the charts, like 99th percentile.
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't even know what, like, she's reading chapter books and she's in freaking kindergarten.
Yeah,
she's nuts. So Catholic school system, I'm just hoping they don't have a gate program.
Well, I think it's probably individualized based upon the school itself. Whether or not they participate. Like I said, my school did not have it. We had something else. I think that's definitely something you should pay attention to. You should, watch out to see who wants to cultivate her throughout her life, because that would certainly be something they would look for.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. Anyway, interesting subject tonight, man.
Mm-hmm.
I'm also just kind of blown away by your buddy's story. I want to know more. I hope he has their contact info. So I would love to know if those people were actually FBI agents.
I have tried to get him to reach out to them again, and he hasn't. I think he just wants it to go away.
He just wants to be left alone.
Yeah, he doesn't want something to be on anybody's radar.
I respect that.
Yeah.
I'd probably want the same thing if I were him. It's got to be a little scary, but it doesn't make sense.
Mm-hmm.
Like, why would the Trump's intelligence community around those people? Like, why would they even threaten that? Like, it
doesn't make any sense. That's why I'm saying I think that was a ruse.
Yeah.
Certainly they would have paid attention to his social media. They would have probably, seen his communications. They know he's conspiratorial like me, but they know that he's not like MAGA. He's more like just completely distrusting of anything related to the government. And, but he's also into like strange and, paranormal, UFO stuff. He loves that stuff. But I think that ultimately that was a ruse so that they could get back into his life in some way. And, who knows what would have happened if his dad hadn't been with him.
Yeah.
I don't
know. Anyway, man, how do you feel about getting some rants?
Yeah.
A couple boosts. Real quick, I want to plug, guys. We got GART coming up. It's like next week. June 25th to 28th. Single day tickets are still available. You guys can join us. That would be fantastic. But if you can't join us in person, make sure to join us virtually. We are going to be doing another exclusive ticket holder live stream this week. And I also think we are trying to live stream the golf outing that we do.
Oh, cool.
Like just actually live stream it, which I think would be pretty darn fun. We're going to make it a competition, obviously. It's going to be Badlands host and Badlanders, whoever signs up. So if you're coming, you should join us for golf. If you don't want to actually golf, you can join us to watch. Zach, you should come and watch.
I am probably going to be sleeping in, John. I don't want to get up at 8 a.m. on the day after I arrive in Deadwood.
Okay, but I know what time you're arriving because I'm pretty sure I'm picking you up from the airport.
You are picking me up.
Yeah.
But I mean, the whole weekend I'm going to be hanging out with other people than my wife, and so Wednesday night I was hoping that we could,
your wife can come golfing too. You guys can.
Yeah, but she's not going to want to wake up at 7 a.m. to go golfing at 8. I already know this.
You guys can wake up at 7:30. No, you'd probably wake up earlier because it's a little bit of a jaunt.
Yeah, it is.
I'll convince you. I'll talk you into it later.
All right.
We'll do that off air. I'll use some gate program MK Ultra to get you to come.
Okay.
Anyway, get those tickets, guys. Badlandsmedia.tv/events. We also got a couple boosts. If I can find where I put that page. Oh, there it is. All right. 1027 JS for $20 says happy Monday. Thank you very much, Joe, our fellow North Dakotan. And then Mike and Robin became a Badlander. That's monthly support. So we truly appreciate that. And again, it's badlandsmedia.tv/boost. And that was a monthly support of $25. Says there was some confusion with our account, so we are reestablishing our monthly support. You are the most amazing group of journalists. We are grateful you are here to keep us all off the rugs. See you in Deadwood. Yes, we are looking forward to seeing you in Deadwood too.
I will stand on that rug for you.
Yes, as any good host would do. Thomas Time 76 right away. He for $5 said, since Zach, I think we already read this, but I'll read it again. Since Zach hasn't been getting his foreign agent income, I'll give him in advance. And he meant to say suck it, conspiratards.
Oh, I got to tell the story about that.
Yeah.
Okay, so on my show last week, I told this story. So when the DNI release came out, and I was okay. So back in 2022, obviously, I was talking about this on my show, and I have a buddy who lives in Russia, and he was going into Ukraine, and he's a journalist. It's John Mark Dugan, the guy who was in Muffin Gate. Been friends with him for a long time, and he also brought me the Tim Walz accuser that was an exchange student from Kazakhstan.
Interesting.
Yeah. So anyways, he was going into Ukraine, and he was, telling me about, his experience in Ukraine and the stuff that was being found before Russia had even released their report. And so I was talking about this, and we were doing weekly streams about, the situation in the Donbass in the eastern portion of Ukraine, because even before the war began, we had done a number of reports on the aggression from the Kiev government against these autonomous republics. And so I got a message from somebody on X, on Twitter, I guess at that time. And they started out buttering me up. And they're like, wow, I really like your show. I've been a big fan for a long time. And they just basically complimented me. And then they were like, I just had a question, have you registered as a foreign agent?
What?
Yes, they asked if I had registered as a foreign agent, and they wanted to know if I received information directly from the Russian government to present on the show, and if I had any, guilt or qualms about basically being a traitor to the United States of America. And I just thought it was hilarious, and I didn't respond to them. And of course, I'm not a foreign agent. I've never received money from a foreign government. I've never received money from the United States government. And everything I do is self-funded. And so I told the story on the show the other day because I thought that it was hilarious. What's also funny is that I have another friend who does work in Russia, and she was actually working with the Russian Duma, which is their Congress, basically, before the war broke out. And she was trying to set up a cultural exchange program that was going to be done with the Russian Duma. And so basically, I was going to fly to Russia, and I was going to spend a couple of days with Russian independent media, and then we would do some shows, and I would see how the Russian system of government worked, and then I was able to talk about it and compare and contrast to what's happening here in the U.S. And then the war broke out, and all hope of going to Russia in any reasonable amount of time ended. So
bummer.
Yeah,
I hate to bring this up because I know this probably pissed people off, but did you see that Flynn had to register with FARA? He received $100,000 from whatever government that was. Was it Turkey or something?
Yeah, I mean, he had done work for other countries prior to that as well, too.
Yeah.
It's
a little, I don't know.
Well, better safe than sorry. I mean, just because you're lobbying on behalf of another government, I don't think that necessarily means that you're lobbying against the United States government.
No, but certainly not, America first, I would say, but we don't need to get into that.
Either way,
more rants here. 12 Indie Boy, very good to see you, Ty, and thank you for the rant. Says, if I rode a short bus, do I qualify as gifted and talented? Won't watch all night, but will watch the replay in the morning. By the way, are bus steps really big for everyone or just for me? See you in Deadwood. This is actually really funny. So after the Deadwood Guard, Ty and JC are coming up here to Bismarck for a couple days. And so we've been getting the guest room sorted out, and the bed is super tall that they're going to be saying it's just got a thick mattress, thick box spring, and it's high off the ground. And so I go in there, I was like, is Ty even gonna be able to get on this bed? Like that was my first thought, because this felt bad.
Oh
so we'll find out. We'll find out next week. Or in about 2 weeks.
Great.
Gonna have to give a little step stool, a little ladder. Red Pill rated the stream. Thank you, Red Pill Project. Josh.
Thank you, Josh.
Appreciate you, buddy. Keith O'Higgins, I think that special drink was meant to open your rear gate program like Michael Jackson's Jesus Juice. Yeah, good to see you back, Keith. I know he's dealing with some health stuff, so glad you're doing better, man. Sleep State, could Comperatore have been the real target in Butler? By the way, the exploding pagers targeted Hezbollah.
Did I not say Hezbollah?
I think you said Hamas.
Oh, okay. Well,
I think close enough.
Hezbollah, yeah. Fucking terrorists either way, but yeah, I mean, I think that I've said this before, but I don't think that the deep state fails to capitalize on whatever it is that they might be able to capitalize on. If there is going to be multiple objectives that can be met with a single mission, they will definitely take advantage of that.
Yeah. It's impossible to know for sure.
Yeah, no way to know, but unfortunately the man died,
Yeah. Principal Enigma says, wasn't IBM responsible for creating the Nazis' Enigma machine? I have no idea.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I mean, Alan Turing was a Brit. You're saying about, well, I don't think Alan Turing worked for IBM.
No, well, that was what Alan Turing created, was the Alan Turing machine, which was supposed to decode or whatever the Enigma machine.
So IBM, okay, so you're saying IBM actually created the Enigma machine for the Nazis? I don't know, maybe.
No, so there's some like German cryptographer. When that movie came out, I got super into like code stuff, and I did a lot of. There's some German cryptographer who created the Enigma machine, and I'm pretty sure IBM. They used something from IBM in the Alan Turing machine,
okay,
to help break the Enigma code.
That would make more sense to me.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So I'm looking at the wiki, and it just says it was developed mid 20th century, military communication employed extensively by Nazi Germany, branches of the German military. It was invented by German engineer Arthur Scherbius at the end of World War I. The German firm Scherbius and Ritter, co-founded by Scherbius, patented ideas for the cipher machine in 1918 and began marketing it under the name Enigma in 1923, initially targeted at commercial markets. Early models were commercially available from the early 1920s and adopted by military and government services of several countries, most notably Nazi Germany. Several Enigma models were produced, but the German models having a plug board were the most complex. Japanese and Italian models were also in use, with its adoption by the German Navy in 1926 and the German Army and Air Force soon after. The name Enigma became widely known in military circles. Okay, breaking Enigma. Here we go. Hans Thilo Schmidt was a German who spied for the French, obtaining access to German cipher materials in 1932. The French passed that material to Poland. December 1932, Marian Rajewski, Polish mathematician and cryptologist at the Polish Cipher Bureau, used the theory of permutations and flaws in the German military message and cipherment procedures to break message keys of the Enigma plug board, excuse me. It doesn't say anything about Alan Turing here.
He definitely created the Alan Turing machine, which a lot of that was classified, though, especially like right away. Obviously not now. There's a movie about it.
Yeah, I mean, okay. Well, maybe. Yeah, I don't know. It doesn't say anything about Turing in here, but that was my understanding too, is that he had something to do with. I mean, maybe he broke it for the Germans or excuse me, for the British, and they hadn't gotten it from everybody else. I don't know.
Max Southwest Patriot says bricks and minifigs conspiracy. It's happening real time. Unite the clans, John, for a big win. We should get into that. Have you seen that whole thing?
I have. Yep. I basically watched all the videos on it, and I kind of wanted it to come to a conclusion. Like it felt like it was on the verge of coming to a conclusion, but we could totally talk about that next week.
Yeah, we should. I mean, we might as well. That way we can do an update when it does come to a conclusion.
Yeah.
I think that'd be interesting. HRBL Aman says, thank you for the Gate Warning show. You are welcome. Thank you so much for the rant. And the Max Southwest Patriot Again says, lawfare busted. This is a really big one. Needs to be exposed. Yeah, I think we should do that next week. That's a good idea. Thank you.
Multiple
Max.
levels of corruption with that.
Yeah.
Including the Mormon church.
There we go.
Yeah.
And then the Boom Diggity for $100. Thank you so much, Boom. It says PETN, info, shoe, and underwear bomber, Maison de France, House 1983, U.S. Embassy in Beirut. Ghost did a show with Clay today on this subject. Sent a Wikipedia link over.
Very cool. Okay.
Very cool. Yeah, thanks for that. I'm going to check that out. Yeah, a lot of terrorist use. Holy cow.
Is that
Alfred Heinz Ramir?
Will you put that in the private chat so I can pull it up?
Yeah. Al-Qaeda, the shoe bomber. Yeah, all over the place. Awesome. Thank you, Boom.
Thank you.
And with that, that is all the rants. So, guys, do us a favor. Hit that thumbs up if you don't mind. And also, make sure you guys tune in tomorrow. Zach will be on his channel, 5 p.m. Eastern.
Yes.
For his daily show. And I will be on at 1 p.m. Eastern here on Badlands for my daily show. So you can catch us both tomorrow.
Yep.
And Zach, as always, it's been a pleasure.
Good time tonight.
Yeah. You guys have a great rest of your Monday. We'll see you guys tomorrow.
Peace.